The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Today, we come live to you from the White House. Since it's my house, and my name is White, it is the White House. Anyway, not any different than any other day, except on Fridays when I come in and join Tom O'Brien for the Tech Insider Hour on Fridays, if you've missed that. But I digress. Don't we all digress? But I win the award for digressing. Anyway, what do we have going on today? Not a whole lot. S&P off 1/4 point. The NASDAQ up 1/4 point. And we're watching paint dry out here and kind of counting off the minutes till we see the weekend come. But my guess is that we're going to see extremely narrow trading ranges. And I've been saying that for probably, 11 or 12 days since the 15th. Let me put it that way. It looked pretty much like the volume had died out to the low side. Now we're having volume die out to the high side. Unfortunately, going into these weekends, they are very adept at making sure that the shorts don't make any money. This market tends to go out sideways on light volume, and about 2,000 is all I was ever looking for. I thought maybe, is there another percent higher available in this market? Maybe. Probably not. Is there a half percent lower in the S&P? Probably not. So very narrow trading ranges. Of course, that pushes us to look for a value in movement in other things like commodities, ETFs that are based on commodities. But when nothing's moving, keep your eye on commodities. And I've been doing that, and I think we've got some good positions in the daily newsletter. The rest of the market, a little tough to see, but we're probably going to have to wait until we get back on Tuesday after this long 3-day weekend. Well-deserved, though. I've got all kinds of projects, all kinds of honeydew projects ready to go. So there will be no rest for the wicked here, but we'll look at it. Anyway, it is an exciting day nonetheless, and we'll try to look at least some of the stocks that are moving and what we can do about them. On this day in 1874, the day after he returns to his laboratory in Menlo Park from a trip to New St. Louis, Thomas Edison begins experimenting with the electric light, actually makes the first one that works. But I think if I remember my history right, it lasted for 2 minutes. Coming out with and trying all the things that didn't work, he found out finally one that did. If I remember right, he went through 1,000 different trials and tests before he found out that a tungsten filament was the correct metal to use for light bulbs and creating of incandescent lights. Past then, he is a prototype for a lot of the tech leaders we have today. You could say that he had an economy with the truth. Ended up basically stealing a great many of his inventions in the later part of his life. Wasn't beyond cheating and screwing people over like Mr. Tesla. And the whole thing is kind of a very interesting tale of so many of these people that make it to the pinnacle of popular culture, in that not everything that is written about them is true. Not everything that's bad written about them is also true, but they tend to have a lot more dark side that only comes out later in life. Of course, probably the most interesting thing to me about Edison ever was his war with Westinghouse on alternating current. And I've told this story before, but always bears repeating. If he basically had stolen the patents for a DC generator from Tesla and was trying to win the contract to basically bring in electricity to New York City, if you would have figured it out, there wouldn't have been enough copper in the entire world just to use in New York City using direct current. If you're going to move electricity a long distance, you need to use alternating current. And why those small wires that go across the country can carry such huge amounts of power. But the whole thing was kind of, and is kind of weird, but he wasn't beyond paying off a great deal of many people in the press, electrifying animals in the street. He paid off the people in the press every time that they would say Westinghousing somebody, instead of giving them the electric chair, giving Westinghousing them. He would pay them $10, and a lot of these guys didn't make $10 a week, and in the press. So he was more than willing to pay these guys off to make his competition look bad and torture animals in the middle of the street with alternating current to prove people how dangerous alternating current was. It would have never worked, so it didn't really matter. Of course, Tesla basically gave Westinghouse the patents for free on the alternating current generator, the dynamo as they used to call it. And that whole future really is kind of the first chapter in what in 1980s really became the tech boom. Of course, if you've ever been to where all the venture capital people are now, it is called Menlo Park, and a bit after Alva Edison, because that's where he was at in Menlo Park, New Jersey. They named the area Menlo Park out there in Silicon Valley. I think that was in the not too long after HP really showed the garage model for building electrical devices, but I digress again. Anyway, as we look at the rest of the market, this is going to say that volume is predictably going to start falling off. I thought pretty much yesterday it is. We've got 1.4 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape today, and that is going to continue to be kind of a fairly weak market. And we'll try to look and see if there's many things moving out here for us today. In fact, we'll look at them. There's a few things moving out here, and we're going to get into charts probably just a little earlier than usual. If you have a chart that you would want me to look at, you can always call me at 877-927-6648. TSU. Well, what a nice little Gartley pattern out here. We are going to talk about Gartleys today. I had a email from Mike. Mike didn't tell me where he's from, but his email is user something, big long number. But we will try to get to it. But I wanted to look at this one today. It announced it engaged in a Banco BTG essay to review alternatives to the purpose of enabling a viable proposal for the acquisition of shares of TSU indirectly held by Telecom Italia. And this is kind of a fairly decent looking Gartley pattern out here. But one of the things, we'll talk about these more, and after we talk about this Tim Participus TSU. But normally what you're looking for is the volume to kind of pull back. Yeah, I wouldn't have played this one mostly because of the super high volume that we saw on this down day with 3.5 million shares on the 5th. But kind of an interesting move out here. Gappy little thing, but of course, when a stock is in play, it will happen. To RYAAA. Ryanair Business Plus has also announced 6 new routes. Is that it? AA? Oh. AAY. And, let's turn Gartley's off here. Kind of a nice move out here. Actually, the question, which is the Irish-based airlines, I had to answer last week in a trivia contest, and I did not think about Ryanair, but apparently it's Irish. Nice little pop out here on this today. Announced the launch of a Business Plus company, 6 new routes. It is moving. It is coming up over a gap down that happened on 273 million shares on the 7th of July. When we look at this one, 252,000 shares. So, we're getting awful close. Going to at least duplicate that gap down. You'd like to see probably 350,000 shares by the end of the day, but one of the low volume players out here. Level 3 LVLT. This thing's been moving up fairly decently. Come back here a few times. Upgraded to outperform from neutral from one of the companies. This thing gapped up on April the 30th with almost 7 million shares. That gap up has pretty much been acting as support. Really has never gotten back down much farther. First time it tried to get back into the gap was with 11 million shares. It tried for a day, and that was pretty much it. And so you knew it was going to come back in this area again. But, of course, you had it tested on August 14th with 2.1 million shares. So you got a pretty good test of at least that gap up candle from the 30th of April. And it's been moving up since then. But without a lot moving out here, we're going to have to kind of dig deep. TLM. What else do we have on this one? This one, Talisman Energy. When we look at this, we have TLM. Wall Street Journal is reporting the company's in talks with Repsol, big petroleum supplier in Europe, regarding potential deal for the sale of assets have stalled. So I guess everybody thought this was going to be a buyout, and it is not going to be any longer. It probably gapped up, I imagine, on that rumor on the 23rd of July out here. Came back into the gap on August 15th. Lighter volume. Now it's headed right back down, probably for these lows at 976. We'll be back in just a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
Andy Hecht's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
If you're new to TFNN, I will tell you that we do have a program called The Art of Timing Trade Charts, and it does a lot of the work for you. You still have to do the work. You still have to think. But it certainly makes my life a great deal easier. If we didn't make it available to all the TFNN listeners, I would have written it for myself. And I kind of did, actually. But one of the questions we had from Mike is about Anglo Ashanti Limited, since it showed up a Gartley pattern in the scan. And this is what I would have looked at. I guess the question is, how would you have played it as a Gartley? And I don't think you could have, and here's the reason why. When you get the B point of a Gartley pattern setting up, that sets the volume for whether or not this thing's going to probably go to a 0.782 retracement for the D point. In this case, it would have been $16.04. It got to $16.60 as it broke the B point. It broke it by a dime. But the problem is you're going to have some kind of volume close to the 2.7 million shares you had on July 31st. That it came in there with less than half the volume is telling you that this thing is probably going to bounce. So if you were bullish on gold out here and you were thinking about buying Anglo gold, you probably would have wanted to buy that low on the break of the low and not wait for it to go into a Gartley pattern. Let's say that the volume would have been, let's say, 2.2 billion shares, so lighter. That would have been a good signal, and you probably might have gotten that 782 move down to 1604 for the D target. It would have been lighter, but it wouldn't have been so light that the thing just bounced, which is what happens now. So this may fool around and then go back down to 1660, but you're going to have more volume at the D point as it breaks the B point to get this thing moving down. And what can you say? It's not every Gartley, just because it's broken the B point, is a Gartley pattern. And if the volume's lighter, certainly that looks good for you for playing that Gartley and buying the D point. But if there's not enough volume to hold it below the B point, like this one, you got a dime below it, you're going to get some bounces out of it. Now, if we come back next week and this thing continues to move down, you could probably consider this as a longer Gartley pattern and look for that 1604. Of course, you've had a couple of days out here since it bounced, and volume really hasn't come in. So, if you bought it, I might take my cash now and wait until Tuesday to take a look at it again. But maybe headed back to that 1604. You got to know that you've got to see what the volume characteristics are when the B point is broken by the D point. So, at half the volume, I might have bought this if I was bullish on gold right there, right at that test of the previous low with lighter volume. And it wasn't just a little lighter volume, it was half. So that's everything you're looking for. I would not turn down a low tested by a half that closes back above the previous low. Pretty good bet that you're going to have a nice move out of it. Now, we've been talking about some of the other stocks that are moving in the markets, and we'll get into them. See if there's anything else I was looking at here that was interesting before we get into the rest of them. I'll do advanced auto parts, and there are a couple more that I wanted to show you. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648, and that is the easiest way to get me. You can also email me like Mike did at path@tfnn.com, and or you can put a message in the den if you're a member of our Tiger's Den, which is a great community of wonderful people, all above average. A little statistical joke there. Anyway, advanced auto parts, kind of watching this one, mostly because I continue to get a bunch of coupons from these guys. And if I was looking at one, this thing did have good earnings and good energy, at least from the August 1st low up to this high. Volume's been low the last 4 or 5 days, but unless this thing breaks out, I'm going to be watching it closely. All these coupons, are significant, huge discounts. I'm thinking I'm getting $40 off a $100 order for advanced auto parts. And I do my own wrenching, as they say, in the automotive business, or out at the racetrack. Anyway, I will be back in a minute. Make sure and give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we are at here, anyway, we're talking about advanced auto parts. I said, probably want to be watching this the first couple of days of next week. I know we're probably not going to have a great deal of movement here. But this is a great time to actually sit down, slow down, start looking at these charts, and maybe looking at a tale of two cities. One is the bullish case, one's the bearish case, and getting these lined up. But advanced auto parts, of course, has had a big run, but a decent pullback. Energy was up. They had some good news on the 14th of August, and this thing bounced up with some decent volume, 2.4 million shares. But since then, the volume has really tapered off. And, of course, we're trying to go up against this 1.4 million share high from June 30th and not getting much out here, which is pretty clear. But what you're going to be wanting to watch to see if this thing gets some decent volume starting probably by Wednesday of next week. And this is going to be a really good one to see how the market's doing. It could be a lot of reasons that we see that nice pop. But, we had a lot of people that got short the market. And over the last couple of days, if they didn't blink fairly quickly, probably those trades were going against them. But that's it. I got more charts to look at. I did want to look at one of them out here, though, and that is the U.S. government is talking about taxing imports of Mexican sugar. I know Andy Heck, maybe he'll call in today if he's listening, and maybe he can tell me about this since it is news breaking today. But Cozy and Limited, CZZ, a huge move out here. And maybe John in the den, Mr. Z, maybe he'll comment on it also. But certainly looks like sugar, a huge move in Cozy and Limited, CZZ, on this issue of U.S. government taxing imported sugar. And maybe that what it would do to the sugar market. I'm not a sugar aficionado. In fact, I don't even like talking about sugar. I've been sugar-free on an Atkins diet for 45 days now. So I'm probably the last guy to talk about sugar for a variety of reasons. But certainly you had everything in the chart that you're looking for today. No contribution, no clue here. Maybe Andy will call in. I am him when I get a chance here. Maybe he's listening. Hang on just a second. What are we doing here? Okay. Let me get this cleared up. Now, Andy may call in. I don't know if he's around, but I did send out a little note to him. Would be interesting because I don't think he's available on Wednesdays many times. But maybe he has something to say about it. Anyway, that is, basically would set up, if we're just looking at the chart, a nice test of $14.49. Oh, Andy's busy. Sorry. We won't get him. Maybe he'll talk about it later. He'll be back tomorrow. Anyway, Cozy and CZZ certainly looks like this thing is going to go up to $14.49. So you're not that far away today. I imagine we're probably going to see that before this weekend. So that is a nice mover. When we go back, American International Group, AIG. Of course, this is good. It's lighter volume, but not that much. So I'm going to be watching this one again closely over the next few days. The June 20th high out here is 9.1 million shares to 600,000 shares short. But there are a great deal many stocks that are way shorter than this on volume, but certainly hanging around these highs, pulling back in the trading zone. But that's going to be another one to watch, probably starting on Tuesday with as close as the volumes out here. Anadarko Petroleum. And this one has made a triple top. You had more volume, so on this July 30th high at 113, that was going to get retested. Was retested yesterday with 2.7 million shares compared to the 7 million shares on that high. But it certainly looks like we're seeing a lot of sellers come back in at about 112 on this. And that is going to be a big move. But just not enough volume out here. And, of course, pulling back on lighter volume into the trading range. So this is another one I'm going to be watching very closely over the next couple of days, but probably mostly Tuesday and Wednesday. There's probably going to be some decent volatility when we come back next week. And like I said, why it's quiet now is a good time to keep an eye on this market. Broadridge Financial Services, symbol is BR on this one. Another interesting stock up here that's coming back after the June 4th high, $42.32 with 900,000 shares. Came up against it yesterday with 560,000 shares, so darn near half. Back into the trading range, of course, closed lower yesterday, but again, volume not picking up today. So a great deal of these stocks out here kind of making some sounds that at least there's probably not higher prices. But the question is, are there going to be so many lower prices? And right now, not a lot out here. What do we have? S&P's up. S&P's flat. NASDAQ's up 1.5 points and 1.53 billion shares. So volume continuing very light. Dynex Corporation, DYAX, $10.07. 3.4 million shares, got into it with 1.5 million shares. And that is pretty much everything that you wanted to see. What do you got? You know, you could really see the energy coming out of this one. It had a nice run. May 15th, this thing was down at $6.05, went up to the June 27th high at $10.07. Nice little pullback, 50% retracement down to the July 18th low at $8.09. Now back up to these highs. Question is whether or not this is an ABC up or not. And certainly the volume here as we break the previous high of June 27th with less than half the volume, probably a good indication. Now, this thing has not pulled back and closed below the $10.07 level. That would be the sell signal, but like I said, very light volume. Probably going to see a lot of these things try to pop the first couple of days of next week. Of course, we're going to go right into an options expiration cycle, which means that this thing could hang out with very light volume and very low volatility all the way into that expiration period. It is interesting. Anyway, to look at it, EDC, emerging markets. Now, this one's a little bit more interesting. Emerging markets, 3X bull shares. And, of course, this one's up here testing a high. Now, one of the things that makes me think we could move a little higher, especially when we're looking at like EDC and some of these others, is there are some gaps up here, especially in some of these leverage products. And the volume's not all that bad when we look, compare it to like the May 8th high of 2013, $35.25, 530,000 shares. But right above that is a gap down. That gap came on the February 4th of 2013. Now, could we come back up? Just go back up. We've got 840,000 here now. So the question is, that gap down happened with 860,000 shares. So I could see us at least coming back up, maybe just a little bit more into 36, 36.50 range on the EDC. Now, if the volume really comes in light or we have a huge reversal signal on that day, I think it's going to be very telling. Now, one of the other stocks we've talked about for a while, I've been kind of keeping an eye on. This never has really given me a good buy signal. But if we start looking for hurricanes, this is the go-to stock. Generac Holdings, of course, they make standby generators. And pretty much over the last few years have caught up with their back orders of standby power supplies. These are the things where they put the giant 500-gallon propane tank and a generator next door. And, of course, if the city power goes offline, about a second and a half, you've got power back in from the nice little propane generator out there. Some of the bigger ones are diesels, I guess, that they sell, but probably the ones that are really popular in the $10,000 range to homeowners really got this stock going up. It was a $62 stock back in March. So this thing has kind of bounced off the lows. What you dislike is that high volume move down and 2.7 million shares at $41.72 on August 1st. So this thing's going to get pulled back down that way. Now, if you get a hurricane, it doesn't happen. If we can get a light volume test of 41.72 and then maybe see a late fall hurricane come back in here, this may be one of the ones, but you're not going to have a lot of time. If you hear the word hurricane, you better be on this stock like white on rice, because you won't have a great deal of time. Okay, HealthNet, HNT. This one is going up against its little abandoned baby out here, a shooting star sometimes they call them. That's the July 24th little candle out here. This thing has come back and challenged that July 24, 1.4 million shares. We've seen us come into that today with 600,000 shares. Of course, we haven't closed out, but it does look like it's going to be just a little bit higher. And again, these are the stocks you're probably going to be wanting to watch to get the clues out here. Now, I know a lot of people have been talking about the IBB. This thing is finally, over the last 2 days, come up to test this high. You certainly have a lighter volume, and certainly this last big leg from $242 all the way up to $276.71 today has been on extremely light volume. And, you wanted 1.5 million shares. We got 900,000 shares, so not quite half. But if you were looking for one of the weaker ones out here, certainly looks like IBB could certainly be that. JP Chase Morgan, kind of getting back into and going over the July 24th high at $59.35, 19 million shares. Now, when we look at that yesterday, as it went through that high, 9 million shares, 4.5 million shares today, kind of spiked into it, 14 million shares on the 25th. But we're really looking at this kind of level right here and just saying, there's just, the energy is coming out of some of these. But again, we could get it back in. But these are going to be the first to break if the market does decide to turn down when we come back on Tuesday. Let's see what else we have out here. We'll look at a few of them. Knowles Corporation, KN symbol on that one, up challenging the March 18th high, 2 million shares at $33.66. Went over it yesterday. It's now pulling back into that trading range today. Energy not all that bad from the July 28th low out here. Unfortunately, it really didn't test any of the previous lows with a lighter volume. So you could probably make a good case that you're in a trading range from those high 33s back down to the $28, maybe even the $27 level on this one as a trading range. LAZ, we talked a little bit about this one yesterday. Continue to see these stocks up here. Lazard, LAZ, testing these highs. 1.4 million shares is what we were looking at on the July 30th high, $54.10. Went above it yesterday, closed below it, and not quite half the volume, but pretty close. Pulling back a little bit on lighter volume today. So we will see a volume a few times. Look for these things to kind of spike up on Tuesday when we come back. And as they say, run it up the flagpole in Peoria and see if they salute. These are the ones who are going to get the first indications about anything happening out here. LinkedIn, this thing's back up here. Also against previous highs. The one I'm looking at is the February 26th high, 217.49, 4.2 million shares. Last 4 days out here, 2.6 million shares, 1.9 million shares, 1.2 million shares, 600,000 shares today. So we are back at these inflection points. Could we see another couple bucks out of them Tuesday, Wednesday? We could, but what you're going to start having to see is a volume come into these dogs before we go much further. Oh, we're going to the break right now. When we come back, certainly you can call me at 877-927-6648. Also have some emails from some folks who will look at those charts before the end of the show. Be back in a minute.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of every
doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, founder and CEO of TFNN, professional trader and educator. Also a special guest on CNBC, analyzing the commodity markets. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're going to go right to a caller, and it's Sam from Irvine, California. How are you doing today, Sam?
I'm doing very fine, Dave. Thank you very much for taking the call and a great program. And I want to thank you for yesterday covering MOBI.
Okay.
My question today is about UGAS.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this for $20.39 over 2 months ago. And I wrote it all the way down, and I was coming up now. Mm-hmm. My question is the time decay. Am I making a huge mistake for the time decay effect on these directions? And to hold them for this long?
Well, you can't let them go sideways for that long. I've shown on the show the seasonal chart on natural gas, and normally you don't want to go long probably until August 15th. So that's the problematic part of it. Are you watching on Tiger TV?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. I've shown it, and I showed it at the beginning of the summer and pretty much said the same thing, which is... what is seasonal charts.com. Is that it? Seasonal charts, seasonality, charts, what is it? Is it seasonal? If I spell it right here. Seasonal charting, seasonal charts. Maybe I can find it here. Seasonal charts. Hopefully, seasonal charts. There it is. I'll bring it up. If you want the link for this, or anybody that's listening wants the link for this thing, I bring it up from time to time. But there's a guy, he hadn't done it for a long time. I think it goes up to 2010 or something. But he went back and looked at the seasonal fluctuations in almost all of these commodities. And there's a fairly decent way you should be looking at natural gas, and that is you have to wait until the heat of the summer and that it starts turning cold so people start heating their houses. It's kind of very tough to go back here. See, energy, natural gas. Okay. I'm bringing it up right now. This one did back to 2007, but there hadn't been any appreciable change. But if you look at it, there's almost always a bottom somewhere around July, and it kind of comes halfway back down around the first week of September. That's almost all based on usage from power stations and heating. Of course, it runs almost all the way up into the last week of October, and there are some real reasons for that, mostly the contracts that power generation stations get, and that tends to, mostly in the fall, cut down the supply. So if there were a couple of mistakes that I would think that I've talked about before. One is probably buying UNG or any of these others before late August, maybe even the 1st of September, although probably not a bad time to get involved in it. And, probably much after October, most of the juice is out of these markets. So just know that there is a seasonal bias. It's one of the best biases in all of commodities out there. But if you want that link, just let me know and I'll send you a link. But he's done these for all these different markets out here, so you have to keep an eye on it. That's one part of it. The other part is that you are using a thing that I don't like, which is an electronically traded note. Mm-hmm. It's not an ETF. Did you know that?
Yes, sir. I know ETF. Okay.
So that is kind of dangerous in that you don't have any guarantee on the other side of this thing. But to me, yeah, you're going to get $20 out of it. Just make sure you get out of this thing when it comes back up there, okay?
I will do that. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for Tom O'Brien over most of TFNN.com.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.